Hello, Cancer, and welcome to your reading for the weeks of April 23rd through May the 6th, 2024. This is a reading for you if you are a Cancer Sun, Cancer Moon, Cancer Rising, or have another significant Cancer placement in your chart. If you're new to this channel, welcome. It's good to have you here. And if you're returning, welcome back. I'm hoping this is going to be a good reading for you this week and that it's going to be helpful to you. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and do consider hitting the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss these videos. And you can also leave me a comment if you choose. Everything that you do helps this channel get seen by the YouTube algorithm and to grow. I also have some links in the description box below to my website for my services, my social media, and some other things. I am going to be making some updates. I'm going to be probably changing the URL, although the URL for my services is going to be the same for now, at least probably for the next year. I may be making changes to that, so nonetheless, everything should still forward to the new address once that is set up. But I'll probably do a separate update on that. The way that I do these readings is I do them according to the 12 houses of astrology. So the cards are in each house position, so I'm reading it according to Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, etc. through Pisces. And this is not about individual signs, it's just about the meanings of those houses. So if you're not familiar with astrology, each house has to do something. First house has to do with personality, second with money, third with communication, and so on and so forth, and they are connected to certain zodiac signs. So I'm going to read the house position, talk about the house position, and then I'm going to interpret the cards in terms of that house position. You'll see how it works if you're not familiar. I do use Murray Hope's Way of Cartouche deck. This is the main deck that I use. And I clarify with a tarot deck, and this week I'm going to be using the Golden Dawn Tarot. And our extra oracle card pull that we will have at the end is going to come from the Black Moon Astrology deck. So let's get started here. So, Cancer, what do we need to know? Okay, first house. We have the Four of Cups with Nephthys. Now, Nephthys comes up in the first house. This can come up when we are uncovering things about ourselves. There's strong Pisces energy associated with Nephthys, or Neptunian kind of energy. So there's things that this sometimes comes up when there's self-doubt or the path forward is somewhat unclear. So I do feel with Nephthys that you may be discovering new things about yourself. And this certainly has been a tumultuous time astrologically this past month. So it may very well shake up our whole concept of who we are. Nephthys can also show up when we are relying a little bit more on intuition and feelings than we are on logic and reason. And there's also a sense here of withdrawal. Like with Nephthys, you may be looking to beat a retreat, to kind of spend some time by yourself. Now with the Four of Cups is a card of dissatisfaction. This sometimes comes up when we're looking more at what we don't have than what we have. And it can also have to do with, it could also be just we're not looking at the opportunities that are in front of us. Oftentimes this card is shown with a person sitting with their arms folded, staring at three cups, and there's a fourth cup that is being handed out to them, but they're not seeing it. So they're not really seeing the thing that's being held out to them. They're only focused on what's in front of them, and they seem to be dissatisfied with it. So yeah, with this here, I just feel like there's just certain things. I feel like with these two together, it just may be that there are certain things perhaps that gave you pleasure before, and now you're looking at them and going, this is just as exciting as it used to be. So you may be changing, your tastes may be changing, your goals may be changing. There's a whole lot of change that's implied here, but maybe it's something that's still kind of amorphous and not really clear yet. Second house is financial. This is Taurus energy. And we have another four. We have the Four of Swords with the Air card. So air can be communications about money, okay? It can be money that comes from some kind of work connected to communications, so writing, teaching, speaking, or something like that. That's a possibility here. But Four of Swords also, there's also a healing component to the Four of Swords. This is a card that has to do with, it reminds me of what we're seeing here in the first house. There's a sense of being either under physical or mental stress, need for healing, needings for a timeout. So you may be, I don't know, this could be money that's being spent on something that's medical or connected to health, or it can just be that there's some situation connected to your finances where a break is needed or a withdrawal is needed. I mean, it could be literally a withdrawal, right? But there's definitely this sense here. I'm something here either connected to healing or medical things, or perhaps something connected to communications. But this also could literally be, for some of you, messages coming in about money. And maybe it's money, connected to something having to do with the physical or mental illness for somebody, whether that's you or whether that's somebody else. But there could be monies that are being spent. Maybe if you've not been feeling well, maybe there's going to be money spent on doctors or something like that, or maybe this is somebody in your family. But yeah, so there's something here that is connected to that. If there is nothing having to do with anything medical, then the Four of Swords generally would just mean, again, a need to retreat in some way. So financially, this might mean not spending money on a lot of new projects and things. And there could be some changes that are afoot here. Maybe you need to detach from a particular situation too when air comes up. Third house is Gemini energy. So this is messages, communication, self-effort. So this would be the house of self-employment if you are in fact self-employed. This can have to do with sibling relationships, so brother-sister relationships, and also short-distance travel. Now you have the Seven of Pentacles with fire. Okay, so Seven of Pentacles is a card of reevaluation. It means that we're looking at something and we're trying to make decisions about whether or not we want to keep going with something, whether we're still going to continue to push forward. It's really a card that says, is this worth the effort? Now, the answer isn't necessarily no. This could also just be saying that we've reached a certain point where we are reevaluating, but we need to be patient and push through to the finish line. And in fact, fire would imply just that. The idea that there's something. Now, if you're in your own business, maybe there have been some difficulties. Maybe you've been reevaluating some things. And maybe there's some stuff you need to quote unquote burn up or get rid of, get rid of the rubbish, eliminate what doesn't work. Okay. And it can also be about being inspired to do the right thing. So this could have to do with business. And it could also just generally have to do with messages about some particular situation. Because again, this is Gemini energy. This is communications that are a little more general. More day-to-day practical kind of stuff. So I don't know. There definitely seems to be something here where you are reevaluating and need to decide what stays and what goes. So you can decide whether that's connected to a business, if you're in your own business. If you're not, what communications have you been having recently? The fact that we have the communication card here as well, maybe suggesting that this may be connected to finances for some people, even if it's not business. So yeah, so take this as it resonates, but it does seem like there's some situation here. This could have to do with, again, as I mentioned this about writing, for some people, this could have to do with writing and publishing or something like that, if that applies to you. And again, this is a general reading, so I'm just covering all bases. If that doesn't apply to you, then don't take it. But there's definitely a sense here that there's some need to push ahead on something, but there's a sense of reevaluating where you are, which is typical because we are coming out of Mercury retrograde, and retrograde is indeed a period not for pushing ahead, but for reevaluating. So that will be over as of the 25th of April. So that's a very good. So this would definitely be part of that reevaluation process still going on. Okay. Fourth house, that's your own energy, Cancer energy. Cancer is about home, your physical home, your sense of feeling at home, your sense of security, your family. We have Anubis with the Chariot. Okay, this is interesting because these are both cards of travel. So for some of you, maybe you have a home away from home, maybe you are traveling, maybe you're thinking of moving. All of those things are possible. You don't necessarily have to be moving with this card, but this is definitely a moving and shaking kind of a card. Chariot is, there is a restlessness about something. There's a sense of wanting to get control of things. This is the card of Cancer, by the way, in the house of Cancer. So this is kind of an exalted thing. Anubis also implies protection, and it may also imply a situation where careful negotiation or diplomacy might be needed. So again, whether this pertains to a family situation or something to do with your physical home or living space or where you want to be, but there's a lot of movement with this energy. So I don't know. Some of you may have opportunities that may allow you to travel or move, or you may be considering a move of home. But again, it's going to be different for everybody. But that's the energy that we see there. Fifth house is Leo energy, creativity, children, love affairs. And again, it's not going to necessarily be all three. Just take what resonates. If you're happily married and not looking for love, then that obviously doesn't apply to you. You know, if you don't have children, that aspect of it doesn't apply to you unless it's somebody else's child. So, okay, so we have Sirius here with the Queen of Swords. Now this is almost double, like, it's certainly air energy. Sirius is usually associated with the Aquarius, and Queen of Swords can be Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. So we could be dealing with an Aquarius person. Don't have to be. But Queen of Swords is a very, very detached energy. So if this has to do with a creative project, this could be, again, something where the intellect is being applied, analysis, reason. If somebody here is doing writing, and I don't know, there just feels like somebody watching this reading, that may be a thing for them. This may be indicating that sort of detached, looking something over, being a perfectionist, revising something, getting something just right, or maybe there's somebody who's critiquing work that you're doing and they're, you know, maybe being very exacting about what they want. Sirius could indicate work that needs to be put into something. It can be saying that you need to think outside the box or think a little differently about something as well. Sirius in this position too sometimes has to do with physical fitness and things connected to it. So people who do sports, for example, or some kind of recreation. This could be someone who works with a personal trainer or something like that. Like there's a strong element of physical creative energy here as well. So I don't know. So you can take that as it resonates, in which case the Queen of Swords could just be, I don't know, sometimes it could be a balancing of academic or intellectual pursuits with physical ones. This could have to do with a child potentially, or this could have to do with a lover or a loved one, or maybe somebody you're interested in. As far as love goes, this is not, I mean, it doesn't have to be a negative omen for love, but generally I see the Queen of Swords as somebody who is, you know, is somewhat detached from emotional situations. There could be a physical attraction when this card shows up, but there does seem to be something where there could be a level of emotional detachment. So take it as it resonates here. But Queen of Swords, this could be you, or this could just be a person that's coming in who's doing some kind of critiquing or evaluating, or or again, this could be you applying intellectual energy to some kind of a situation, whether this be a unlegalized love relationship, or whether this has to do with some kind of a project or situation with a child. So again, take it as it resonates. Sixth house, this is Virgo energy. This has to do with health, healing, worries, and anxieties. It also has to do with jobs in terms of what you get paid to do, as opposed to, say, having your own business. That's the thing. Sometimes it has to do with pets. We have Isis with Justice. Okay, so Justice is a card of finding balance, and Isis is a card of kind of compassion and self-care. So this says to me, this is a very strong, vulnerable, compassionate energy. And I feel like it's something that needs to be kept in balance. There needs to be a balance. I mean, you have the idea of work-life balance, but this could also be, if maybe you feel like you're giving a little too much to people, maybe this is saying you need to keep things in balance for your own health's sake, for your own mental health particularly, perhaps for your physical health. There's definitely an element here of balance and fairness that needs to come in to a situation. If this doesn't have to do with health, this could just have to do with your job. Maybe you have somebody, as a Cancer, you may be a very, very giving kind of a person, and this may be saying, don't overgive, set your boundaries. You have to keep things in perspective and in balance here. So yeah, I know that can sometimes be very, very difficult for signs that are very water-based, very, very emotional. It's sometimes very hard it's hard to be this person. It's hard to be the Queen of Swords and sort of take a cool detachment or a cool detached perspective on something. So that's interesting there, but I would say overall that's just a need for balance for somebody. Seventh house, this is Libra energy. So this is legalized partnerships, marriages, business partnerships, anything that involves legal contracts. Okay, we have Osiris and the Queen of Wands. Now this is really interesting to me, because Osiris is either Sagittarius or Aries energy, so it's fire. And we have the Queen of Wands, which is fire. And she is either Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, okay? So we have this kind of Sagittarius and, Aries, Sagittarius vibe there. And then we have the Aquarius. We have the Queen that's connected to this card as well. So I find that really interesting. We've got the more intellectual, cooler air sign here. And in terms of a partnership, we have this fiery energy. Queen of Wands is somebody who's ambitious, somebody who's attractive, somebody who's noticed. And now in terms of a partner, Osiris could indicate just having a very strong, stable partner, somebody who is has leadership qualities, somebody whose judgment you can rely upon, somebody who's steady. This is somebody who's this is a stylized tree, and there's the sense of this person being is somebody you can count on. So whether this has to do with a marriage situation, if you're not married, maybe that's the kind of person you are going to end up with. Maybe somebody who is a fire sign. Or it could be somebody who is just very steady and reliable, okay, and in control of things, because there's strong Emperor energy with this card. Now, with this Queen of Wands here, yeah, I don't know. Now, the gender does not necessarily have to matter on the cards. This could have to do with a man, could have to do with a woman, but you have two queens here, so I don't know if this is two different people. Maybe one person is more intellectual, maybe one is more passionate, but this is definitely somebody who's very action-oriented, somebody who's ambitious, determined to get what they want. And as a partner, like I said, if this is a marriage situation, I mean, this could be what your partner is like. Or it could also have to do with, if this is a business partnership, again, this could be just somebody who's very determined, but also somebody who has, who has good leadership qualities, who has good judgment and has their feet on the ground. If we're not talking about that kind of a thing, then this could have to do with some kind of a legal arrangement with somebody. It could be a contract, it could be something like that, or some other kind of significant partnership. I found that sometimes even non-legal partnerships that are significant, I mean, we do have justice here, that sometimes could have to do with, I don't know, just anything having to do with balancing those scales, so to speak. You still have this idea of this strong, fiery energy and this ambition. But again, it's combined with this very solid Osiris energy. So this is not a negative. This is not... Sometimes people interpret the Queen of Wands very negatively. They see her as somebody who is very kind of almost bossy and domineering and aggressive or bullying. And that's not really the energy I have here. I have that there's somebody here. And again, this could be a female who you end up working with. It doesn't have to be a female. It could just be somebody who's either a fire sign, or it could be somebody who's just... got the kind of energy about that the Queen of Wands has, that very ambitious, attractive, and recognized kind of energy. And I was looking at this, and I'm trying to figure out, for people who are looking for love or who have questions about love into marriage and things like that, this is interesting because you're moving from this very kind of cold, detached, just the facts, ma'am, kind of energy to something that's much more fiery and passionate. So I don't know if this is maybe somebody with whom there is a detached and maybe more analytical or intellectual relationship moving into something more passionate. Could be. So again, take it as it resonates. It's going to be a little different for everybody. 8th house, Scorpio energy. So this is about transformations, endings, beginnings, and also potentially other people's money. Okay, so we have Seth here. So Seth is R. As you can see, he's a different color from the other cards, and he's the Stormbringer. So, and he is Scorpio, by the way. So you're Scorpio in the Scorpio house. The Scorpio energy of Seth, I think, this is more about obstacles, anxieties. So it indicates in terms of big changes that you want to make, or possibly in terms of a joint financial arrangement. Again, take that as it resonates, because this is the house of joint finances. But not everybody's dealing with a joint financial situation. So this is either obstacles to some kind of change that you want to make. We have the twins here. So the twins, there's a couple possibilities here. This could be, again, if this has to do with joint finances, this could be somebody else you're trying to work with or negotiate with in terms of finances, that maybe there's a problem or maybe there's a conflict here. The other possibility is that maybe you're having trouble moving ahead with something, and maybe the key is going to be another person, maybe the person who's going to help and support you. I mean, we do have this queen energy here, so it could just be that there's somebody who has to come in either with the right amount of analytical skills or the right amount of ambition, maybe, who's going to help you. We have this with the 4 of Pentacles. Now, the 4 of Pentacles is about kind of being stuck, like staying where you are. So the issue seems to be about trying to hang on to what you've got and not moving ahead. or not being ready to move ahead. This is often the idea that you have to let go of something in order for it to expand and grow. If you just keep clutching onto it, you're always just going to have what's in your hand right now. It's not going to double or triple, or you have to. It's the whole you have to spend money to make money thing, because does have a very strong financial component to it. But it doesn't have to be about finances. It could just be that you are feeling stuck, like you have to build this fortress around yourself. Where did I see? Yeah, so Anubis down here. There could be a sense here that you feel the need to protect yourself, which, maybe there has been obstacles right now, maybe an obstacle with another person, or maybe this other person is here to help. It can kind of go mirrors, kind of goes either way. But whatever it is, I think, part of the issue here is that right now you're feeling like you want more stability and security for something. I mean, here's our stability and security here in the 7th house. So there may be somebody there who is going to help provide that to you. It's interesting, too. I'm just looking back at the Queen of Swords and the Queen of Wands. You would be more like a Queen of Cups in terms of, so you would be more the cup energy, the emotional energy. So it's almost like you've got these other people who are balancing out the aspects that, maybe are not your strongest ones. If you have the more vulnerable water energy, these may be people who kind of help you ground, look at the facts, stay centered, make sure that you're balancing the head and the heart. But nonetheless, I feel like right now there's just something, this either relates to a joint situation or there's going to be another person who helps you. But whatever it is, I feel like right now you are just kind of focused on establishing stability, getting your feet, getting a firm footing on something. Okay, so now let's look at the 9th house. This is Sagittarius energy. Sag energy is about expansion. So it can be long distance travel. It can be legal matters too. It can be education, higher education or continuing education, educational institutions. This can also be having to do with religious organizations or anything connected to a traditional spirituality, no matter what that is. Doesn't matter if it's Catholicism or Wicca. I mean, it's just about whatever the organization is, and the idea of deeper spiritual knowledge or spiritual learning is connected with this house. Okay, and we have Crook and Flail with the Ace of Swords. Now, yeah, I think seeing the Crook and Flail made legal stuff come to mind. So for some of you, this may be the satisfactory conclusion to a legal matter. Okay, if that is on the table for you. If it's not, then that doesn't apply to you. But there's also a sense of recognition and promotion here, and it's interesting because, like I said, you have this Queen of Wands here. I feel like there's going to be somebody here, or there's going to be a group of people working here that are going to give each other a push and kind of increase your visibility. Now, whether this is an academic venture, whether this has to do with the religious community, I don't know. And again, it could simply have to do with a legal matter for some people, but there's definitely the sense here of expansion in the sense of increased visibility for something. And with the Ace of Swords, I mean, this is something new. This is new thoughts, new ideas, and also about attaining clarity and consciousness. So, yeah, there's something coming up here where you are, where clarity is coming in. There's going to be like a stark clarity that's going to come in for something. So, yeah, so we'll see what that means. But overall, this actually looks quite good. This looks like a chance to move in a new direction, to learn something new, and to, again, if some of you are working on something that's educational, this does feel like this is a clean break or a new start of some kind. And this has a strong energy of promotion, too, in the sense of being promoted in some way. So, yeah, take all of it resonates. If we go back to our theme that somebody watching this may be a writer, this may have to do with promoting your writing, or maybe this even like starting a new thing. Maybe you're going to be writing something new. I don't know. Those of you who might be academics, or maybe starting a new kind of job or new kind of thought, maybe teaching a new kind of class, or taking a new kind of class. Either way, again, depends on who you are, where you are. This is not an individual reading; it's a general one. So, yeah, take that as that resonates for you. But there's definitely the sense of new beginnings, new thinking, and recognition of some kind. May also represent discipline. And again, for some of you, this could just be something that cuts through. If there's been legal matters that have been messy, this may be like cutting through to the truth and resolving things. Okay, 10th house, Capricorn energy. This has to do with career, fame, reputation. It has to do with sometimes with the father as well, what kind of legacies you want to leave. Okay, so we have Bastet with the Tower. Now, Bast is the happiness card. Okay, this has to do, again, we were talking about attention. That has to do with getting attention, being liked, handling situations cautiously. And it's interesting because we have this with the Tower, and the Tower is about rebuilding based on truth. It's interesting because your job houses have a lot to do with truth here. I mean, balance, but also truth, because justice also has to do with clarity. You've got the Ace of Swords over here, truth. So you may have had with this retrograde period ending some truths coming out, and somehow when connected to your career, there's a sense here that something needs to be restructured. There's something else, something that's either not tenable or no longer seems to be true. So it's like you're tearing it down and you want to start over. And Bast certainly indicates mental healing here as well. So, or things that afflict the body that connect to the mind. So this is really about finding happiness. Again, finding that balance, and doing something that is not mentally taxing and exhausting for yourself. I feel like maybe there's been certain events that have happened recently that are leading you to this Tower moment where it's just kind of like, okay, maybe you just have to rip up what was before and start again in some way. Doesn't mean you literally have to do that. Like if you've been working on a book, it doesn't mean I have to throw it out and start over. But there's something here, there's something false that's breaking down, and you are going to have the opportunity to rebuild based on truth. This is Uranus energy, actually, and we just did have a Uranus-Jupiter conjunction, and the fact that in the house of Jupiter, I'm seeing this as well. So this may be how this is affecting you. This may be, what it actually might bring is some kind of a new opportunity. So do keep your eyes open for that. Don't, as we see in the first house, don't just focus on the negative. There may be something very positive to be coming out of this. Okay, so 11th house, Aquarius energy. Aquarius is your friendships, your social networks, business networks, your goals, your wishes, your destiny. Okay, so we have Urias here. So now when Urias comes up, this has to do with secrecy. So there may be something that you're trying to do and you're not sharing it with others. Maybe you're being cautious about certain friends or certain people. I don't know, but Urias would definitely indicate if there is somebody who's adversarial that you will outwit that person, that they will not get the better of you. But I feel more like this is the idea of you keeping certain goals or hopes or wishes to yourself for right now. Now we have this with this Three of Pentacles. So the Three of Pentacles is the idea of working with someone in collaboration. Remember, we see all of these individuals here that we might be partnering or working with. Okay, but whatever this is that you're working on, I don't feel like these people are untrustworthy. I mean, it's not showing up here because I think they would come up with like a Page of Swords or a Seven of Swords or some other kind of card that indicates that this person might not be telling you the truth. This is more the idea that you may be making some changes here. Maybe this is this restructuring that's going on, but you want to keep this close to your chest right now. And if you're working with people on something, I think you need to, we have this withdrawal over here in the first house. I think this is a sense of, I need to, not be out there so much and tell people where I'm going or what my goals are right now. There is a sense of collaborating with people, but this may be something you're doing more behind the scenes rather than openly, okay? So take that as it resonates. 12th house is Pisces energy. Pisces is about what we're afraid of, what we don't see, what we're, maybe what we might even be hiding from ourselves. I always feel that this has to do with where our fears and doubts and secret thoughts come in with regard to a reading. That's how I always read the 12th house. 12th house has a lot of meanings, but those are the main ones. Okay, so we have the Sun with the Lotus card. So Lotus is about calming the mind, okay? So this would unconsciously indicate that there has been some anxiety, anxiety that needs to be calmed down. Probably, I'm hearing in my head for both physical and mental reasons that you definitely need to calm anxiety. And we have the Sun. So the Sun is a card of clarity. It's a card of positivity. So when it shows up in a house that has to do with what we're afraid of, it could indicate the fact that our fears and things maybe are going to be illuminated, that there's going to be truths that are illuminated. But this can also be something that produces anxiety, especially if it's a truth that we think is not going to be what we want it to be, But I always feel like the Sun is a positive card. And so I feel like the work that maybe this kind of unconscious work, this work that is keeping you kind of in withdrawal, maybe this healing that you're doing, I feel like this is saying that whatever's going on internally, it's shining a light on what's going on internally, and that this can have a positive result. I mean, it can result in what I think of as a good tower, because it just breaks down ideas, habits, behaviors, thoughts, situations that are not good for you anymore, and brings some clarity as to what your direction needs to be. Now, overall, yeah, you've got the winged disc. I mean, the winged disc, basically cancels out, in the center of the reading, cancels out any negativity in the rest of the reading. So this definitely says that no matter what's going on right now, you are going to overcome your obstacles. Okay, you have this with the Three of Wands. Again, this is collaborative energy. I said that up here, and I said it over here. This is definitely the idea of working in tandem with somebody. This is three people working together. Maybe it's you, and maybe it's these two other people here. Because even though this is showing up in the houses that have to do with love and marriage, I mean, it could have to do with that, but this could also just be about somebody you're partnering with creatively in some way. It does not have to be that kind of a situation. And maybe there is going to be some kind of legal contracts or something. Who knows? But the Three of Wands is definitely about manifesting. The thing to remember about the threes is that you are at the beginning of something. You've got the ace there. I mean, you don't have a lot of, you don't have any 10 energy here. You don't have any 9 energy. You do have the tower, and you do have the sun in the majors, as well as, let's see, well as justice. So you've got some things. You've definitely got this idea of movement, but the farthest things have gone along is to this level of reevaluation and trying to achieve stability. There's like 3 and 4 energy here, and so this is definitely indicating you are on the right track. You are building a foundation. You're moving in a new direction. You're manifesting what it is you're trying to do. But I think you may want to be farther along than what you are right now. That may be why we have this element of dissatisfaction. I do feel like you are somebody who needs a rest and a break right now. But do remember, like I said, that you are at the beginning. And you are going, things are going to get better where they have been difficult or where there's been a struggle. This does seem like you're going to have people who I think are going to be helpers to you. And I do think that we're still in the process of certain truths being revealed and you getting to a point of, being able to take charge of your chariot here, to be able to feel secure, and to be able to make these new beginnings that you need to make. So let's do a Black Moon astrology card to see what extra message we have for Cancer for the week of April 23rd through the 6th of May. Ooh. Okay, so we have the Moon card. Okay, so yeah, and it's funny because you are Cancer, so the Moon is definitely your ruling planet. And yeah, this is definitely connects in with this energy. It connects in with the Chariot energy down here. Overall, I feel like this card is saying that right now, some things may not be clear, and the best guide for you right now is your intuition. I do feel like with this that you need to pay attention to your feelings. I do feel like there's a need to withdraw and to rest and rejuvenate a little bit. And yeah, ultimately it's your gut. I mean, we have these other people who are coming in who may be providing more of the intellectual analysis, who may be providing more of the planning and the and the leadership in terms of maybe what we think of as a more professional aspect, perhaps. I mean, it doesn't have to be professional, but whatever you might be working towards, like the person who's more about the steps and the action that you take. And then, of course, there's the intellectual energy. This seems like this is going to be someone else who helps you with this. You need to focus on your gut. That's what you're good at. Okay? So, yeah, whatever's going on right now, there are definite changes. There are truths being revealed. And you are in a position where, this reevaluation, you worry about stabilizing yourself right now and taking the breaks that you need. But change is coming and you are going to have help. So I hope this reading was helpful this week, Cancer. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment if you choose, and do subscribe and hit the notification bell if you want to stay on top of when these videos come out. Thank you so much, and see you next time.